Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, this is going to be a today's topic video. It is for the 20th. All right. So, let's see what our message may be. So, these are the storylines where, guys, if you would like to type the word compassion in the comments, that gets you entered to win for Monday. Every Monday, I go through the comments and randomly select somebody and do a storytelling for them. It's usually like about a 10-minute long storyline. So if you want to participate in that, you can just type the word compassion and that gets you entered to win. Okay. So, and then don't forget to check back on Monday. And I am starting to make a post so you guys know who the weekly winner is, just in case you miss it. But we have the Seven of Wands and the Page of Pentacles. So on the 20th, we could have obstacles, but then with that Page of Pentacles here, obstacles possibly give way to, some thoughts, some kind of communication. This is a feminine possibly who wants to communicate at minimum. I want to actually go to an oracle deck, and I want something that gives us just a little bit more perspective. Okay, so this card 10, and you can see we've got someone surrounded by books as if they are trying to soak up knowledge. Now, this could be a masculine who's trying very hard to figure something out, and try as we might, sometimes learning is not something we can do by academia. That doesn't mean don't read books or don't try to figure stuff out on your own, but some things in the world we have to go out and experience. And sometimes we have to experience it with our heart or our emotions. We can't read about our heart and our emotions and what that will feel like necessarily. Yeah, I mean, yes, you can read about it, but it's still not going to be the experience of living it. So I'm wondering if we have a masculine who is perhaps extremely educated, extremely cerebral. I don't know if she's saying that the way he operates is creating this chasm, because I'm speaking from a place of lived experience and he's coming from a place of academia. This could be just like two people that are not really able to connect like at an emotional level, because our feminine may have a greater set of life experiences where it's like, oh, I've had problems that I've had to overcome, and I had to think on my feet, and I had to, like land on my feet and reinvent myself and think creatively on the spot. And it doesn't mean that they don't have great experience or great knowledge also, but they definitely have a different kind of knowledge. And he's kind of clutching the books like, no, I prefer to read about these things instead of live them. I'm not sure if these two are, we have a Four of Cups. There's something here, like, I'm not sure if this person is very realistic. I'm not sure if, we get the Hanged Man. They seem to delay taking any risk. And she's kind of saying, then it's a crying shame, because if they delay taking any action because they're still trying to puzzle things out in this very cerebral manner, and they're trying to, basically make a diagram and, do all these equations to figure out either how they feel or to figure out what love is like, instead of just trying love, instead of trying to connect, then it's a damn shame. But I don't think that they're going to end up in my world, because I don't have time for too much like excessive thought. I instead have to act. I have to participate. And this is her kind of like meditating on this, and maybe understanding that I'm just in a different energy flow. My life has been different than his. I don't think and puzzle things out the way he does. And in the most gentle of ways, she's had so many hurdles to overcome in her life that I think her approach to anything is like, you roll up your sleeves and you do it. You jump on in. You don't always have the luxury of trying to figure it all out. Sometimes you just have to get into it, and you'll figure it out. Sprout wings on the way down, you got to jump in. And it seems like they procrastinate and they over analyze things, perhaps. Perhaps. Now, this could just be her perspective. In fact, let's ask, what is your perspective perhaps of her, just to be fair, right? 10 of Wands, again with the book on his head. Okay, so he still keeps thinking, you know, I I don't want to be feeling like I made any mistake here, which is probably why he overanalyzes. The problem is in holding back and overanalyzing, that is the mistake. That is where the time is being lost. That is where the opportunity is being squandered. The inability, even here on this 10 of Wands card, we actually see it like it's a 2 of Wands, like there's a fork in the road. We don't normally see that on a 10 of Wands. It feels as if he's unable to make a decision because he's so nervous about making the wrong one. But the procrastination is what the mistake is. And the only reason I say that is because it seems to be losing her. If he indeed wanted to be with her, he seems like he's losing her because of the procrastination. So I would say that would be a mistake. But the other reason I would call it a mistake is because he's not having a great time with this, from what we can tell. So if your own lack of making a choice is making you unhappy, I would say that's fair to say that's a mistake. 7 of Coins. Again, all of this seems like he'll figure this out in hindsight. It feels like, look, we all only know how to operate the way we know how to operate. His procrastination, his overanalyzing, I mean, this could go on for years, literally years. 7 of Coins is very slow-moving energy, and he may be saying, oh, I'm about ready to make a decision, but in his mind, about ready to make a decision means in the next couple of years, I'll know what I'm going to be doing. And it's like, oh, whoa, that is, we're talking geologic time for him. You know, he's like the erosion of, you know, a rock by the ocean. Like that's geological timing. Fast when you're talking about like Earth energy is, you know, hundreds of thousands of years. Yeah, with this Knight of Cups in the reverse, whether or not he knows it on the 20th, his choice to continue to analyze is costing this relationship. It's costing him this relationship. She's on the 20th, we have a feminine who's like, I think I can't do any more delays. I think my hurdle has been wondering when he and I will talk. And in truth, I don't see him trying to talk. And my hurdle is me waiting for him to talk. So, you know, I have to say, I kind of love the fact that each character is simply responsible for their own actions, behaviors, and the way they choose to operate in life. This is not her saying, oh, what a villain he is. How come he's not able to move forward? How come he analyzes too much? Isn't that a mistake? She's not saying anything is a mistake. She's just saying it would be me who has the blockage if I keep waiting on him. So I don't think I can wait on him. And at this point, she's not. And she's not picturing a love story with him anymore on the 20th. That's the departure point. So the 20th is a pretty important day because that's the day somebody stops waiting on him. I don't know if he knows this because it looks like he's committing to even more time for, you know, analyzing. He's made some kind of breakthroughs, but he's mostly still just going to be analyzing some more. What's the 20th represent for you? Queen of Swords. Strangely, he may understand. This is a day that I can feel her closing her walls. This is the day I can feel her shutting down. Is she actually going to say something to you, or is this a day that she no longer communicates to you, or is it a day that you feel her go cold or see her go cold? 9 of Wands in the reverse. It's the day he realizes she's not bothered anymore. How? Do you see her? Do you engage with her? Or is this just all a sensation? 2 of Coins. There's something more like a deja vu. I almost feel like this has been one of those relationships, or the relationship that never got off the ground. That, you know, he thinks of her, he remembers her. The two of them always remember each other. But he's obviously still very connected to her. And it's more like, there's actually a clock right here too. He may see clocks a lot on the 20th. She might also. There may be a lot of like TikTok and, you know, songs about, the clock. I'm hearing Crocodile Rock by Elton John. And then TikTok. Is that, oh God, her name escapes me, starts with a K. Anyway, it just feels like there's some kind of clock imagery everywhere. And it's like, I'm thinking I've remembered her a lot, especially right now, but there's something different going on. I'm understanding that like her energy flow has shifted. I feel things dissipating. I feel like this is a moment where, and he could be analyzing that too. Why does something feel different right now? Why do I feel like I might have taken the wrong path? Why does it feel like it's too late? Again, we have the clock here as well. In this case, it's more like a timer or a stopwatch. The 20th is the day where this is the departure point, but he's aware of it somehow, either in his subconscious or, look, he doesn't exactly know what it is that feels different with the Seven of Cups, only that he's attuned to the fact that something has shifted. And it is the absence of her energy holding space for him. She's literally turned her back and turned into a statue of an angel. I think she is like becoming a calcified memory for him now. She's not really flesh and blood sending thoughts his way or sitting here under the love tree, meditating his name in her heart. She's meditating to let him go. She's meditating to say, it's me who needs to unblock myself. So, darling, today I let you go. And I turn my back. And I would have to say that this energy, this warmth that she still like radiated to him, as she like turns it off, if you've ever turned off a heater that you were sitting next to, like let's say it was one of those fake fireplaces, so it's like blowing warm air at you, and then as you turn it off, I mean, almost immediately it's like, oh, this is cold now, and it's just the damp air suddenly surrounds you, and you're very aware when the fireplace is turned off, when that propane heater is off. That's how this comes across. Like he's very aware something has changed, but he still seems to be confused about this. He knows, and then he also doesn't know. Three of Wands. Maybe he's confused about like, okay, so I can feel something's different. I guess she's not around anymore. For now, I mean, maybe later she'll be back. Not in this story. This was it. This was a prolonged, overthinking, never reaching out, still not sure of what he was going to do, still not sure of which path to take, still not sure of if they could be successful together, still not sure about love or relationship, and still thinking he had much more time to invest in trying to figure himself out. Look, he has all the time in the world. He has his entire life to do that. It's just he doesn't have her entire life to figure himself out. And I think maybe that's the best way I could possibly say that. I'm going to have to make a bumper sticker of that. You can take your whole life to figure yourself out. You can't take my whole life to figure yourself out. We got a 10 of Swords. We got the 9 of Cups. We got the King of Swords. There is an energy of, I think she goes out and kind of celebrates. I think I don't know if she's going out for a glass of wine and raising a glass and saying, no, tonight I'm toasting to the end of a chapter for myself, the chapter that won't ever be written. It was a chapter, a timeline my life could have taken. There is grief. She's dressed all in black. She may symbolically dress up really, really nice, like she's going out on a hot date, but she may be wearing all black, and we're talking black shoes, black pantyhose, black dress, black necklace, black everything, and she may be going out to take herself out like for a mourning party. I'm mourning the end of something, but it's actually that I'm going to raise a glass. She may intentionally order a glass of very dark, red wine, and if we see her raising it, like This is both the end and the beginning for me. This is, farewell to the life path I could have had with someone, and hello to the life path I'm actually on. And I have to say, sitting right beside her on a bar stool or I'm picturing like a fancy, like, I don't know, tapas bar or some kind of, like nice eatery or drinkery or whatever the heck we want to call it, cafe or something. There may be her mate, her king of swords. She's a queen of swords, ready to meet a king of swords. Sometimes it's so interesting that we have to close a door before we see, what it was blocking, this is so crazy because it's like she's going to be sitting next to them facing somebody right there, that her next love story, her next potential partnership could be occurring on the 20th, which is the same day that she's officially saying farewell and having a mourning party for the end of her giving time and patience to someone else. This could be a very abrupt life change. And honestly, I kind of think that makes a lot of sense, because it's as if the potential of being with him was a timeline she kept staring at, and she wasn't noticing there's another timeline right here. And she had to slam the door shut on that timeline. So now she looks down this other corridor. And who's standing there or sitting beside her down this other corridor of a timeline of her life, but somebody who could be the perfect match for her. I would not be surprised if something that uncanny could occur, where she could both let go of somebody and meet somebody new on the exact same day. And that's kind of a magical day. Do we have one card for what happens to, we'll just call him the analyzer. We've got a page of cups and it's in the reverse. We don't see him trying to reach out. We don't see him calling up and saying, hey, I miss you. We don't see him. If anything, he's putting this to rest himself right now, because remember, he already wondered, like, I don't know, maybe in the future I'll talk to her again. I mean, I can sense something's different. I can sense her energy is gone, but like maybe I'll wind up seeing her again in the future. And I think he's fine with just not pursuing anything, and even fine no longer thinking about her and decision-making processes, because he already knows I didn't make a decision. I don't see him backtracking on that. Maybe this person wants to stay single. Maybe this is the path they need to be on. And maybe it's so blissful that she's releasing the need for him to make a decision, because she just made the decision for the both of them, which is that she's moving on. I can say he doesn't have any inkling that she might have just stepped into a new timeline, possibly with the King of Swords. But I honestly think he's where he needs to be. These two were not going to be on the same timeline. This is actually such a relief. All right, you guys, I'm going to put a little free link right there in the description box for a birthday that is on the 20th. I do a little birthday message, and you guys can check that out. And then, like I said, if you want to drop a comment in this video, the word compassion gets you entered to win for next Monday. All right, lots of love. Bye, guys. Thanks so much for giving this a thumbs up and subscribing. I really appreciate you. Bye.